Dr. Phil's explosive confrontation with killer dad Dylan Redwine. Dr. Phil, a renowned forensic psychologist known for his direct approach, confronts Mark Redwine, father of missing teenager Dylan Redwine, in a tense and emotional encounter live on his show. Seeking answers, Dr. Phil urges Mark to reveal what he knows about his son's disappearance. Mark Redwine's behavior following Dylan's disappearance raised significant concerns. Despite Dylan's urgent need for help, Mark showed a disturbing lack of cooperation. He refused to participate in search efforts, avoided media inquiries, and even blocked communication with Dylan's mother, Elaine, and his brother, Corey.
No one can find him. You were the last one to see him, and now he's just gone.
I strongly think that he's involved.
How dare you point the fingers at somebody when you have no proof?
These actions not only hindered the investigation, but also fueled suspicion and outrage among those desperately seeking answers. During their intense exchange, Dr. Phil's frustration peaks as Mark Redwine evades direct questions. Dr. Phil challenges Mark to fully cooperate, stressing the urgency of finding Dylan. This interaction vividly highlights growing suspicions about Mark and underscores the desperate plea for transparency in the ongoing search. Just a day earlier, Dr. Phil had interviewed Dylan's mother and brother, both convinced that Mark was hiding something, footage that later became crucial evidence in the FBI's investigation. Dr. Phil was visibly surprised by Mark's attitude towards his son's disappearance when they appeared together on the Dr. Phil show on February 26, 2013. At that point, 3 months had passed since Dylan went missing, and it was the first time Elaine and Mark had spoken since their divorce. Mark recounted that on November 19, 2012, in Durango, Colorado, he had left home early and returned around 11 a.m., only to find Dylan's backpack and fishing pole missing and the TV left on Nickelodeon. But the truth was something else. Before we explore further into this case, our heartfelt condolences go out to Dylan's mother and his 16-year-old brother, Corey, for their profound loss. If you're finding this story compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more crime stories like this. The distressing story of Dylan Redwine. Dylan Redwine's story is marked by family troubles. He was born on February 6, 1999, to Mark Redwine and Elaine Hatfield. Dylan had an older brother named Corey Redwine. His parents were married for 18 years, but later divorced. When Dylan went missing, his parents were fighting over who would take care of him, but they both had responsibilities for him. On November 19, 2012, Elaine reluctantly dropped off her 13-year-old son, Dylan, at the airport to fly to Colorado and stay with his father, Mark. During subsequent interviews on the Dr. Phil show after Dylan's disappearance, Elaine revealed that Dylan was not eager to go to his father's home at that time. His grandmother was in the final stages of cancer, and Dylan wanted to stay with her. Elaine even tried to seek legal advice to keep Dylan with her, but her lawyer informed her that court orders required Dylan to be sent to his father. Upon his arrival in Colorado, Dylan immediately began texting his friend Ryan. Records show that Mark refused to let Dylan meet with Ryan that evening. Consequently, Dylan arranged to meet Ryan early the next day at 6:30 a.m. This situation highlighted Dylan's desire to assert his independence by complying with the visitation schedule but preferring not to spend time with his father. The following morning, Ryan woke up early and waited for Dylan, but Dylan never showed up. Throughout the entire day, no one reported seeing Dylan. Later that evening, Mark texted Elaine to inquire if she had heard from Dylan. Alarmed by his absence, Elaine wasted no time and promptly contacted the police to report Dylan missing. Even before Elaine and Corey arrived in town, the search unit harbored suspicions about Mark Redwine. From the outset, something didn't sit right with them. The fire chief, Roy Vreeland, remembered those early days vividly. He had been out late into the night, around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, scouring the area for any sign of Dylan. What struck him most was Mark's behavior. Instead of coming out to speak with the search teams, Mark had turned off all the lights in his house, almost as if he were preparing for bed. It was an unusual move during a search effort, when most people would keep their homes well lit, hoping to aid in any way possible. As the drama unfolded, it became clear that the family was deeply divided, with Corey portraying Mark as distant and uncaring, while Mark adamantly denied any wrongdoing. The discovery of disturbing content on Mark's laptop months before Dylan went missing only heightened the family's anxiety. Additionally, investigators found Dylan's blood in Mark's living room, adding another layer of suspicion to the case. With the arrival of spring and the melting snow in the rugged mountains, renewed efforts were launched to find Dylan. Mark's sudden interactions with investigators raised suspicions, suggesting there might be more to his story than he was letting on. After months of relentless searching, there was a heartbreaking breakthrough. A small part of Dylan's remains were found near Middle Mountain Road. Though inconclusive, this discovery intensified law enforcement's focus on Mark. Investigators scrutinized his actions, including a failed polygraph test and questionable behavior, which added layers of complexity to the case. Despite public attention and growing evidence, Corey remained steadfast in his determination to uncover the truth about what happened to his younger brother. Following months of intense scrutiny and legal battles, the trial of Mark Redwine for the murder of his son, Dylan Redwine, delved into disturbing revelations surrounding their fractured family dynamics. Corey Redwine, Dylan's older brother, testified about a pivotal discovery that shattered Dylan's perception of their father. Specifically, during a road trip in 2011, Corey stumbled upon a cache of compromising photos on Mark's laptop depicting him in women's underwear and eating feces from a diaper. These images profoundly affected Dylan, eroding his admiration for his father. The tension intensified further when Corey disclosed that he had sent copies of these photos to Mark in August 2012, during a trip where Dylan was also present. Despite this incident, Dylan returned unharmed from the trip, though it severely damaged the relationship between father and son. Corey's testimony revealed deep family strife, where Dylan's trust in Mark had been shattered by the disturbing images. During the trial, allegations surfaced that Dylan may have confronted Mark about the photos on the night he disappeared, potentially triggering a violent reaction from his father. The defense countered, suggesting that Dylan could have run away. However, Dylan's remains were discovered near Mark's residence in 2013, casting suspicion on Mark despite his denials. Elaine Hall, Dylan's mother, testified to her suspicions about Mark's involvement from the onset of Dylan's disappearance. Her relentless pursuit for answers, including public appeals and media appearances, underscored her desperation and conviction that Mark was not forthcoming about what happened to their son. Mark Redwine, who pleaded not guilty, faced charges of second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. The trial became a focal point for justice as the prosecution sought to link Dylan's death to the emotional turmoil caused by the photos and Mark's contentious relationship with his ex-wife. Throughout the trial, Corey remained resolute in seeking justice for his brother, despite the emotional toll and legal complexities. Mark Redwine was arrested in 2017, and his trial finally commenced in June 2021 after multiple delays and mistrials. This trial showed how family problems can lead to sad results. It also emphasized the ongoing need to find out what really happened to Dylan and to hold someone responsible. On October 8, 2021, Mark Redwine was sentenced to 48 years in prison for the murder of his son, Dylan. The sentencing marked a moment of closure for many, yet the scars of Dylan's tragic fate and the tumultuous family history continue to resonate, serving as a poignant reminder of the profound impact of familial discord and unresolved conflicts. As Mark Redwine's trial came to a close with his sentencing, it brought a somber end to a heartbreaking chapter in Dylan Redwine's story. Many questions remain. How did this happen? Could things have been different? These questions remind us of how complicated family relationships can be and the ongoing quest for understanding and healing in the wake of such a heartbreaking event. Your thoughts and reflections on this case are welcome. Feel free to share them in the comments below. Also, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button.